Here it is for you guys. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Thunder. It's the Stash.
Who wants the mustache ride?
And Schooley, Thomas Schooley, the gosh darn professor. Obnoxiously long bell.
Yeah,
Class is in session.
done the whole day and school's out.
Final bell. Final bell.
All right, we've got a full week of hockey to break down. I've got a blank board. I was going to give you guys a chance to write on the board. I'll have to do it for you because we're not in the same room. But start thinking about that. We've also got a different guest, first timer on We the Thunder tonight. So where to start? Well, I think we should bring on our guests and have him come talk about this week's games with us. And this is the man to talk to. Forgot to put my hat on. If you want some USF hockey information, I am a USF alumni. Stash is honorary alumni.
I'm an honorary alumni.
Well, I don't know where you stand with USF, but you got to love them. But without further ado, let's bring on Tyler Moss. He is the guy. If you're on Twitter, he's the guy always tweeting about USF hockey and the Bolts and all kinds of stuff. What's up, man?
How we doing? What a fun time. I'm very excited to be doing this. Come on, talk some USF hockey. It's not like I do that enough, but let's go ahead and do it some more.
Right.
Well, let's do that before we jump into the Lightning this week. Let's definitely talk about USF hockey. How did this season go? Well, first off, what do you do over there? But also kind of how did this season go down? And when does next season start? Because I think we need to have like a We the Thunder game that we all go to and invite some people to go check out a game. But give like the lay of the land for just people that don't know that USF plays hockey.
Yeah, so I personally run hockey operations for the USF Ice Bulls. It is a club team, a high-level club team. I personally take care of a lot of the business end stuff. I have a whole crew of business operations guys, a guy that runs our in-game content and operations. I have a project manager who does bigger tasks and things along that nature. I've got fan engagement managers. But me personally, I work a lot of the promotions, the fundraising, the advertising for the games, a lot of the big picture stuff, and then I kind of oversight over everyone else as well. We had a very good season this past year. We felt a little bit disappointed at the end of it. Didn't really finish where we wanted to, but all in all, had a phenomenal back end of the year. A lot of support from the fans. We're seeing a really big growing program here, and we're looking to continue to expand it.
Yeah, there's some good hockey players in this area. And it's cool to see, some of these teams in Florida and really in the Southeast in general kind of going at it. So the season literally just ended.
Yeah.
What was it? A couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, it would have been 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
So University of Tampa, correct?
Our regional matchup ended against the University of Tampa. A regional journey ended up in Huntsville, Alabama, about 3-4 weeks ago, potentially. Oh gosh, time flies when you're in Huntsville, Alabama. But then we went up to nationals a couple weeks ago, and went 1-3 on pool play. Didn't end up going any further on in that tournament, but a lot of experience and a good opportunity for the large senior class we just had graduate.
And we'll be talking after the show because this is gonna be my new pipeline to my beer hockey league. Like once they graduate,
start recruiting these feisty college kids. Oh yeah, why not, right?
My team's got to get a little bit younger, so that's
you're not. We all know you're not getting any younger.
But so they play at Advent Health over in Wesley Chapel, right?
Yes, sir.
If you guys haven't been there, it's awesome. I don't know if you've been there, Stash, but it's an awesome arena. Oh, you've been there for the watch party with Six Fire, yeah. They've got kind of that bar that's in between, so you can kind of see the games on the sides. It's a cool place to watch a game. So I know we're definitely going to come check out USF playing next season.
And it's like 30 minutes from my house. So even closer than Amelie for me. So I like it.
Ooh, there we go.
Yeah, I've got to go to 2 USF Ice Bowls games. None of them this year. It was last year. But they're actually really fun to go to. It's a great growing sport here. I mean, you see how well the Lightning does and how much they draw, but the Ice Bowl still hasn't gotten that kind of crowd yet, but you can see it's starting to get that way. Even with the USF students and the alumni, it's starting to build and build. Sonia is a huge supporter of that team. Greg Wolf is a huge supporter of the team. So it's great to see that it's picking momentum, because really people hadn't heard about them in the Tampa Bay area until just last year.
Yep, our last 4 games is when I personally took over. I've been doing small end stuff in the background for the team, but my personal takeover was a couple example games. I was trying to just show them what I could do, the players, because it's all player ran, all player and student ran, so it's very, very challenging to do the kind of things we were pulling off at the back end. But the final 2 games I was in charge of, we had a UCF game and a UT game, both full stands, no seating room available, full wrap around the arena. We're very proud of that. That was the big thing, is pack the stadium. And then we put on a 10-0 performance against UCF, who's a very good team. They're not slouches. That was just, you came into a situation that those kids have never faced before. They had the crowd support behind us. We did a free cowbell night because we're USF, so Bulls will take advantage of that. Why not? Phenomenal game. And we're going to keep that standard of, you're going to have to show up early if you want seats to come to our games. And that's not trying to push anyone out, just more, it's a packed thing, and people are willing to go to this and want to go to this. We're creating a new standard for USF hockey.
Well, what's cool about that area with the Advent Health Center is that it's a growing area, and a lot of people that are in that area, that live near there, that's where their kids are already playing hockey in the peewees and midgets and stuff like that. So it kind of makes sense. And then it is still fairly accessible to the entire Tampa Bay area. So even people that are down in the USF area, the university area, it's accessible for them to get to as well. So students can get there. So I think it's just a great location for you guys to draw for the entire Tampa Bay area. And there's already so much, hockey going on because it's such a great facility. It's a great place to piggyback off of and build your program there.
Yeah, absolutely. We felt, a lot of our core team has come from Tampa Bay juniors that run right out of Wesley Chapel. A lot of local Florida-based talent. We have our kids from New York that come down for the warm weather, of course. But we are really just capitalizing on the local talent that's grown. And I personally always look to accredited Vinnick and Vinnick Sports Group for everything they've done as far as growing hockey in the Tampa area, because it's leaking into other programs that are in the Tampa area as well. I know UT, they recruit personally. I know they do that, and they really recruit up north. So we can capitalize on all the local Florida talent here that want to come to USF and want to represent our school. And it feels really good. And again, crediting Vinnick and everything that they've done to really build a culture of strong hockey in the Tampa area.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's wild how competitive it's gotten. I was talking to my friend last week after our hockey game, and he was telling me how competitive it is in high school now, because you have the high school leagues, but you also have the club leagues, and there's options for these players now. So it's really cool to see in this area, because when I first moved here, it definitely was not like that at all. I was the king of rec hockey.
If you hear us talk about it now, he still is, but we'll move on.
And I think every year,
to my last game later. We'll get to my last game later.
Every year, it's been growing more and more in high school, hasn't it, Tyler? Because I remember just a few years ago, it was only like three or four schools that actually had a team, and that was like your big schools. But now you're seeing it in almost all the high schools, especially over in Tampa.
Yeah, it's really rapidly growing, which is great for us. I mean, I want to take the talent that's in the Tampa Bay area that's grown up here and has, watched the Lightning and has had USF in their backyard the whole time. That's the talent we want. Now, I'm not turning away the the kids from we have a kid from Canada. We've got a bunch from New York. I'm not turning away them at all, but I just love to see the progression from Tampa Bay juniors to USF. That just feels really good. Like the all-time leading scorer for Tampa Bay juniors, Zach Parker, just graduated playing for USF. Like I love that. Like that's that kind of home talent that a guy like that will stay around and help as an alumni for your program. Like that's meaningful a lot to us, and we love it. We love the growth of hockey in the city. I love Tampa Bay. I don't intend on leaving, so I want to see that growth continue. It's awesome.
Well, and we've seen over the years, it doesn't matter what sport. There's a lot of athletes in this area. It doesn't matter what sport they are, how many homegrown athletes, baseball, football, basketball, they all come out of this area. And if you can get some of those athletes to start transitioning into a hockey, which I think if you watch, I'm going to get off on a slight tangent now, too, a little bit, but there's a new video series on TampaBayLightning.com, Lightning Lore, while PK is sitting down with Espo talking about the founding of it all. And, you really go back to this area and how we love football, we love race cars, we love wrestling, and we love boxing. And that's whenever someone told them that we love all those things, and hockey is all those things into one. That's like, and car crashes. That was the other thing. So like all 5 of those things in one is hockey. And I think that's why it has taken off so well in the Tampa Bay area. And then obviously Jeffrey Vinnick, Mr. Vinnick has just done a great job exposing that game to the area and to the youth, especially, and to the parents understanding, hey, we talk about it being somewhat prohibitively expensive game, but the NHL has done a good job in their Hockey is for Everyone program. And I think the Lightning have doubled down on that, getting in the grassroots, street level with the kids, elementary and middle schools, and really giving them a passion. And so they aren't looking at football as their only way out, or baseball, or these other sports. And the other thing I really like about hockey is that it isn't so exclusive gender-wise, especially in the younger ages. It's for boys and girls. Even you're not separating them necessarily. You get, you know what I mean? Like, it helps. To me, it helps like further that hockey is for everyone. If you're going out to play football and you're a girl and you like football, well, guess what? You're maybe going to play a little powder puff, a little bit of flag football. That's all you got.
And to build on that, I think one of the best things that Mr. Vinnick and the Tampa Bay Lightning put into place was the Learn to Skate and Learn How to Play program here in the Tampa Bay area that takes all genders, all ages, and teaches them how to skate, teaches them how to play hockey. And then you also see alumni that have came out of the Lightning system staying here to coach. And that also attracts these young ones that are here when they have, Coburn. Someone the other day when they saw Coburn, he was like, "Oh, that's Coach Coburn." We've seen Vinny coaching here, Prospel, Fenisenko.
Was here for a little while.
A lot of them sit here and stay and coach, and that brings up the kids in this area. And we saw it, I think, at the Hall of Fame ceremony, where they showed the 3 generations really of the Tampa Bay Lightning, and how the original ones now have kids who are starting to play, and those kids are starting to have kids that are learning to play. And that's all going to be here in the Tampa Bay area and for generations to come.
Mm-hmm. So Tyler, now you're from the Tampa Bay area?
Yeah.
So you were kind of like born into being a Bolts fan?
Oh yeah. Yeah. We can go full bio. I was born at Sarasota. No, I'm just kidding. I was born in
dark and rainy night.
Yeah, it was a morning actually. It was about 10 o'clock. Okay. I'm gonna cool it off. I was born in the Bay Area, just south, Sarasota, Bradenton's where I grew up. And I recently had moved up to the Tampa area around 15-ish. That's when I really started getting more into Tampa Bay as a whole, the Lightning as well. My stepdad's what did it for me. I met him around 13. He's been in my life since. A phenomenal human being. Really did introduce me to hockey as a whole. He's been a season ticket member since Stamkos' rookie year. So when he started taking me to games, that's when you notice. And I've been telling, my friends that I've been getting involved in the team, and all my, peers and all. once when you go to a game, it'll change your life, right?
Yep.
I went to a game, changed my perspective of everything. I grew up, I was 10 years of baseball, 3 years of football. That's what I started with. And nothing's caught me as much as hockey has. And going to those first games, really phenomenal for me. Kind of just changed my outlook on sports as a whole. And I've been representing the Lightning ever since. And I love it. I love hockey, and I love seeing it grow in the Bay Area. I mean, come on, go Bolts.
Yeah. It's tough to not walk in that building and leave a fan, no matter, what your hockey background is at all.
Yeah,
Even opposing fans say it as they leave our arena, that it's one of the better arenas that they go to.
Yeah, but just the whole experience. I mean, I love Amelie. What, again, with Mr. Vinnick, we talk about him so much on the show, but what he's done to that arena in the last 10 or 11 years, and how it's a premier event space now, not just a great hockey arena, but it just hockey live in general. I grew up in the 90s watching hockey on TV, and I had kids that lived up north before they moved down here as Navy brats. And that's what got me into hockey. But it wasn't until I was 20, 21 when I moved here and went to a Lightning game for the first time at the St. Times Forum back then. And that absolutely, it changed everything about it. For me, grew up playing football, grew up playing basketball, baseball, everything. I mean, I played roller hockey with my friends, but we grew up in North Florida. So that was the only opportunity we had. So the first time you walk into a live hockey game, it changes you. And I've taken at least 10 people over the years that have been from other places that come to visit me or new friends or whatever. Every single one of them has become a hockey fan after the fact in one way or another. And 6 or 7 of them are now rabid Lightning fans. It's almost impossible to have that experience and not walk away and be like, okay, now I get it.
Yeah. And the wild part is, like, in the arena, they've got it down pretty well, right? But like the surrounding arena is still, it hasn't even peaked yet.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be completely different next season when we walk down there. It's getting there with Water Street, kind of coming full circle. And
Yard of L will be open by next season. I'm excited about that.
So, all right, well, let's talk about some hockey games this week. 3-1 record would have been perfect if it wasn't for letting in too many goals against New Jersey last night.
Usually how you lose.
But let's go back to Tuesday night. I had a blast, Tyler. We watched together at the Dignitary Tea and Kava House and broadcasted it. I thought it was pretty fun. We got some good feedback too. So thank you everyone who attended. We'll definitely do that again sometime soon. And it was an awesome game too. Bolts win 4-1 in that game. Didn't even have Stamkos in that game. They really kind of overcame some energy at the beginning of the game from New Jersey and just took over from there. And we obviously talked about the game live while we were watching it, but I think the most impressive part was, the third period, just kind of seeing the return of the shutdown Stanley Cup playoff defense, which has got this team 3 Stanley Cup finals in the last 3 years. What do you guys think of Tuesday's game? And I guess we can also kind of lump in, Thursday's win against the Devils too.
I mean, I mean, I'm going to say right away, man, killer. So hot, killer. You know where I stand on the show. If you've ever watched 5 seconds of the show, you know who my guy is on that roster and what he's been doing, what he always does every season. But here he goes, 20 goals again, 50 points again, leading the way PK, leading the way on the power play. Now he's on the top unit again, playing in all 3 zones and playing the best hockey of this season. And I mean, he's right up there playing the best hockey of his career right now for this team. And then you add a Brandon Hagel, who is just even hotter right now. Like they're like on the 2 front burners with the heat all the way up, both of those guys right now. That's how sizzling hot they are. So you start now seeing him back on the line, and what Coop's been doing with those guys, kind of shift them around and trying to figure out the combinations up there. It was good to see those guys really stay hot and going to Jersey and take on a team that is really, really good right now and really looked very dominant. And it's the first time we've seen them look dominant in months, probably, like that dominant. So to see the forwards finally playing responsible hockey It's making the blue line's life a lot better. They can go do their regular job now. They're not having to cover the ass of the forwards making these sloppy plays in the neutral zone and at their own blue line.
Yeah, I have partial. I'm a little partial to defense. I don't know why. I can't even physically ice skate myself. It's funny. I manage our USF team. I if you put me on ice skates, it would be phenomenal content. Probably wouldn't get very far, but I love. Probably one of my guys that kind of attached myself to the hip when he got here was Sergachev and what he's been doing of recent as well. I'm starting to feel like 8.5 in a few years is going to look like a very, very nice number for us as far as cap hit is concerned. He's just been very good, just phenomenal play of recent. I know he has his turnover issues. He sometimes gets eaten up about that, but the offensive production is just beautiful, and I love seeing that. And if you pair him well, I feel like he can just do his thing. I mean, I was seeing it at the beginning of the season. I mean, I thought he was better on the PP1 than Hedman really was as far as orchestrating everything. I thought he's had a really big breakout season, and I'm really happy to see in these past few games he's been getting on the score sheet a ton.
Oh yeah.
So for me, that game was Cirelli and Hagel. I really think Cirelli in the last couple of weeks has really came back to his pre-injury Cirelli. And then Hagel, I mean, we'll talk about him more on some of the other games, but he really has impressed and really have shown why Tampa gave up so much for him last year and why Chicago was kind of upset to get rid of him.
Yeah, no, I agree. Hagel 3 points in that Tuesday game. And then Stamkos comes back Thursday, scores 2 goals.
No big deal.
You know, back in the line, I'm going to do what I can do. They
20.
won, so 4-1 on Tuesday. Thursday, 4-3 shootout win. And of all people, the shootout winner goes to Ross the Boss, the New Jersey native, sending the Devils home upset again 2 nights in a row. So really solid 2 games. We talked a lot about last week about this kind of being a little like mini playoff series for them. And obviously they dropped the last game against the Devils last night, but I think it was a good showing for a team that we've talked about is not playing that well against playoff teams recently. This was a good showing. And then we won't go into Montreal Saturday yet because Thomas, I'm assuming you were there Friday, Bolt's first ever Hall of Fame ceremonies. You know, I only saw what was kind of on social media because I was out of town, but how was it?
It was great. It was amazing. There. I don't know if you were there, Tyler. It was, you could not have a dry eye if you were in the arena at all. And here's what was good about it is if you were an old fan, it had something for you. If you were a fan of the first 10 years, they broke it down in 3 eras. They broke it down as the Esposito eras. They broke it down as Hockey Bay era. And then they broke it down as the Vinnick era. And really touched on the good and bad of each era. And it was so well done. Like, I've been to so many things, and the 25-year one thing at Expo Hall was pretty cool and everything else. This was probably the best thing that they have put together that I have ever been to, as far as it was very intimate. They only had 4 sections down in the 100s. They had 129, 130, 101, and 102 was the only thing sold for this. They had tables down on the floor, and just the player interactions, the alumni interactions. They did a little mini blue carpet beforehand that was a blast. And then in between some of the video productions that they played, they actually did interviews with some of the alumni. And it was just good hearing. And every single alumni, all the way from the beginning, talked about Mr. Vinnick and how Mr. Vinnick has changed Tampa, and that they all want to come back to Tampa and moved back here because of what Vinnick has done with hockey in the Tampa Bay community. And it was great. And I thought some of the speeches were really good because you had Stammer, Hetty, and Killer all there. They were 3 representatives that were at the tables. From what I hear, Montreal and some of the other Lightning players were in the back and also in some suites, but we're actually on the floor. And I thought some of the speeches, especially from Marty and Vinny, really spoke to them guys on how to be a complete team.
So what was the best like story? Like, did they have like funny stories?
I have one question real quick, because I know
Fuck
it's related. No, listen, it's because so there's something that just came out on YouTube that was at the Tampa Theater. Was that the thing from the beginning of the season, or was that something that happened this week?
That was from the beginning of the season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was from the
the
beginning.
Fridays was at the actual arena.
Okay, that's what I thought. So I was like, but anyways, that did just drop like 5 days ago on YouTube, and it's like almost 2 hours long. So it's that whole 30th anniversary celebration at the Tampa Theater. So if everyone missed out on that, it's up there. So all right, Shooter, back to being host. You get to ask your
And they are going to. They did videotape this for a later date to be released.
TBD.
Yeah.
Cool. So was there any like funny stories or anything from the interviews or
A lot of cussing. Mr. Vinnick, I think, had a few drinks. His first thing when he got up on the stage, he said, "Thank you everybody for inducting him as the very first Hall of Fame member," and he got a big chuckle on that. It was Manu Real did this real good piece on Phil Esposito that really put a tear in people's eyes. She was real good. Wall went up there and he just was letting the F-bombs fly and anything he wanted out of his mouth. So it was pretty good.
Dingman's Instagram was money all weekend.
Yeah. His social media was great.
I did thank him for coming on the podcast, and he was like, "Anytime." So
okay.
Well, tell him to accept my damn friend request on Facebook. Shit, I can't even comment on his post. I feel like a freaking outside looking in. Damn.
Yeah, hit him up on that because I definitely when we were doing the blue carpet event, I said to him, "Thank you for coming on the podcast." He goes, "Oh yeah, no, anytime." And
finally. It's about time you drop our name when you're around these freaking players again, Thomas. Jeez.
Did you get Vinny? Did you get Vinny on the show?
Marty, Vinny, any of those guys?
Vinny and Marty were the most sought after people at that dang thing. It's funny. My friend Ginger, she's like 6'7", something like that. So she's taking a picture with Vinny, and Vinny's just looking at her. I said, "Yeah, you finally found someone as tall as you." And they both started laughing. And Bishop's wife is pregnant with baby number 3. He said it's going to be a boy. Three boys.
What a household.
Yeah.
They're all going to be. I'm sure they're all going to be small.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they're all going to be small boys too.
All playing for USF. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
You got to drag him out of Dallas, bro. He's still out there.
Yeah, he's in Dallas still.
Boyle was great. He had his son with him and his daughter with him, and they did that interview during the game. But Boyle was great. It was just great seeing all of them together. They said it was the largest of alumni they've ever had together, and I thought for the 25 years they had the same amount, but maybe not.
It seemed like way more to me this time.
They definitely they were shuffling out of buses, so they were all staying at the what's that white hotel, the sex hotel from across the street that everybody got the videotape of, the Addition.
Yeah, the Addition.
So they were all staying at the Addition. They all had police on the whole first floor, so nobody could bother them or anything, and they got bussed over in party buses.
Nice.
And they were all shit-faced. And the only one that Vinny drove himself, and he had Lamborghini doors on his car. It was really nice. But when Vinny got there, he's like, "Marty's already here?" And we're like, "Yeah, he's inside." And he's like, "He beat me. He's never early." And then they were just all shit-faced. And when Wall came, the guy standing next to me said, "Where's Dinger?" And he goes, "Was he not on our bus?" And we're like, "No." He's like, "I could have swore he got on our bus." He's like, "Did he stay on the bus?" So if he did stay on the bus, he went for the next crowd because he ended up coming out at the very last crowd.
I wouldn't be surprised if
Yeah.
Dinger did that. That totally seems on track with him and his personality and how much the camaraderie meant to him playing this sport. So I like what the Lightning are doing overall too. Because if you go on the website right now, it's just alumni everything. There's the lip reading game that they do. There's a couple of funniest moments from your time, and Coburn evidently is on vacation last week for spring break. So Greg Wolf sat down and did a few episodes with alumni, and the one that dropped today was with Teddy Purcell, Teddy P, one of my faves of all time, and Ben Bishop. So that was a really good little episode, and it's cool because it is just talking about all those alumni that have been here all weekend and some of their stories. And I'm curious to know how loose Marty was, seeing as how he was here to also work as a head coach, and in the midst of it, having to have a discipline situation with one of his players. Because some of the stories they talk about Marty is he's got such a small guy, and it's like a 2-beer bus. That's all it takes for him, like 2 beers, and he's like feeling it. So I'd be interested to know how much he let go.
Don't ask him for a picture during a game.
Oh, that was ridiculous, dude. I was so embarrassed.
First of all,
there's been a lot of times I've been embarrassed to be a Lightning fan.
Just don't do that.
That's ridiculous. That is so. That set our fan base back 15 years, man. Everyone's see, this is why hockey doesn't belong in Florida.
Yeah, it was ridiculous that girl did that.
Like who would have thought that would have been a good idea as his team's getting smashed?
Like, who's your friends? Who are your friends? Yeah. Clearly you have none because nobody stopped you from doing it.
I think it's a member of Hockey Bay.
Yeah. My first thought though when I saw it was Stash saying, "Pucks in play."
Pucks in play.
That was my first thing. Was like,
I would have.
Stash would have yelled at her that puck was in play, but you just see Marty go, "Not right now."
No, it's the most. It's like he looks like you're the most ridiculous person I've ever encountered in my life. Which is saying something because he lives in Montreal.
The festivities carried over to Saturday a little bit. The players were there. I heard there were some missed appearances where the players were supposed to be in certain areas, and apparently the drinking didn't stop either because they missed a couple of those. But they were having a good time, so I'm cool with that. Hagel was having a good time Saturday night, getting his hat trick in game 200. So there you go. Hagel again, just lighting
one of my 50% off purchases.
Hetty and Stammer also with goals. Bolts win 5-3. It was a close game till the third period when the Bolts came back and
dominated.
Joyce somehow got it on our DVR. Like Marty's face when they gave the Bolts that power play. He just knew we were about to lose this game.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And then Sunday, Devils come to town on a 3-game losing streak, mostly because of us. And Brat comes in with the hat trick.
Mm-hmm.
And I think really the story of this game was the missed power play opportunities. 0 for 4 on the power play, just wasn't playing as well. But if they converted on those power play goals, they would have won the game. And the irony of Nolan Foote with the goal that really kind of took it away from the Bolts there in the third period. It's not Andre Palat coming back into the building. It's Nolan Foote, who was a first-round draft pick by the Lightning, if anyone remembers our draft picks.
Yeah. Well, if you guys are watching right now and you're looking in the chat, you can see some of the Sticks of Fire folks are in there chatting away because I was at both games, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday was such a great time that the drinking did not stop, and we kind of went out pretty late. And once again, that's why my voice is pretty shredded tonight, because I then took the family to Sunday's game, and sitting in Sticks of Fire 307 2 nights in a row is recipe for laryngitis. So I had to shut it down a little bit, so I had at least a little bit of a voice tonight. But you can't go sit in 307 and not be loud, not be raucous. I said it before. That's why I love those guys. That's why I fit in with those guys, because I love sitting in that section with those guys.
Anything else exciting happen at the stadium or in those games this weekend?
So my parents and me split season tickets, and we're in 316. So it's actually really neat for us. So we can hear Dave Randolph and Mish yelling sometimes. So that's a really cool area to be. And there was a lot of blank space on that wall for a while. So what's really cool is we're now sitting behind their Hall of Fame kind of layout up there. And the next game that I head to, I'll be able to check it all out. So that's really neat that it's kind of right by our section. It's a little fun little addition.
I
haven't completely glossed over that.
I haven't seen a picture come out yet without the fans in it, but I really want them to take a nice picture of that, before, without all the heads sitting in it, because I saw about 30 to 40 photos of it, and it's all got the fans' heads sitting in it. So
that was my parents. Sorry about that.
Tell your parents, puck is in play, bro. Sit down. Puck. No.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see without any fans in there, and just the building of that. Just thinking of who's going to be in there, in the future. And they talked about that at the event. The one thing that I didn't say that Marty touched on is that he is a huge supporter to try to get Vinny LeCavier into the Hockey Hall of Fame. He says he believes he belongs in there, and he deserves to be in there. So, and he also talked about how Vinny is player development coach, and that Marty had nothing to do with the draft this year. But every single time someone got drafted, Vinny would say, nope, that's a bad pick. That was a bad pick. Nope, that one was a good one. That was number 4. Yep, that's a bad pick. Nope, they shouldn't have went there. He's like, he knows everything about these kids. He said, so he's really doing his thing. So I really want to see VL4 get into the Hockey Hall of Fame. I think he belongs there, but I think that's going to join them up on that wall. You have to say Andrechuk's probably in the next round. Brian Bradley probably.
That's what I was gonna ask you guys is, do you think they're gonna just do one a year from now on? And if they do just one, who's next in?
Andrechuk.
Yep.
I think it's Bradley.
Is that what
next.
You guys are all going with?
No, I think it's probably Bradley. Honestly, just because he's also stuck around and been part of this team too, and I think I think they got to go original roster next. You know what I mean? That's why, because you already got 2 guys from that 04 Stanley Cup on that wall. Andy's going to be up there. He's already got the statue, right? And I think Bradley is the guy that kind of came in and knew Chris, was able to come in and set a tone in the locker room of what it meant to be a professional. I mean, there were all a lot of veterans and stuff like that, but I don't know. I just kind of look. I really like Bradley because he's that original era. There could probably be a couple guys off that original team, but I would say he probably is the front runner from that original roster.
Also, how long until they have to shrink these images and nameplates?
Well, that's one thing I was doing last night. I was looking because, the way they have it set up there, and I feel like they're going to kind of eventually try and wrap it all the way around. It'll be like a ring of honor, what I mean? And I was up there a lot. And so on Saturday when they unveiled it, it was cool because I was actually in like row E or something. No, like B, C or D, something like that. I was only like 4 rows up in the 300 so I could see it. Last night I was in row P, so I was only like 3 rows from the top and I couldn't quite see it. So, but I was looking around the arena and I was like, okay, there's room. There's room that they have these like little sound deadening things along the concrete. And I think there's definitely room to go all the way around the entire arena. So I would say that that's their vision. So like I said, there's room for probably 100 players on that ring.
I think they go definitely. I think they're going to do the Ring of Honor like the Bucks do and
like
go all the way around. But I think maybe eventually they'll have to cut off the pictures and just have the names.
Or they, it depends on you don't really want to, I think anyone that makes a Hall of Fame should be equal. It doesn't matter who it is. You know what I mean? They should all be equally honored for their contributions to this team. And I don't think except maybe for Esposito and eventually Mr. Vinnick, I don't think you could say person is more important than any other,
Right.
except maybe for those two. You know what I mean? So I think everyone deserves full honors when they go up on that ring. And I think that if they plan it out well, which I don't see the Lightning not planning a lot of shit out very well these days, I think they have a plan. So yeah, that's cool.
Mike Sneed said this, and actually there was some of us debating this during the actual ceremony the other day. I think he hasn't retired yet, so therefore I don't think he makes it in yet. I could see where they do.
It's right here.
What was it?
Beckham.
Yeah, Peckham. I think then they do Peckham, even though they named the press box after him. But I think Peckham will get his name up there. I mean, because you got to imagine PK, Paul Kennedy will get on there. Dave Michigan.
Hopefully never, Mike. Hopefully he never retires. I love PK so much.
Michigan will be on there.
Maybe Greg Wolf yelling into a mic on there. Come on.
All right. The only problem with putting Greg Wolf up there is you got to choose which hat he's going to be wearing because he's got way too much hat. He's got way too much hat game, bro.
Somehow I don't think it will be a USF one.
I got bias. It's okay.
Hey, that's fair. We're fine with bias on this show.
Oh well.
All right. Well, we'll ask you one more question before you get you out of here, Tyler. And you don't have to pander to this audience.
Oh, I will. Come on. I need them to come out to my games. Of course I'll pander.
It's been a kind of a rock. I mean, it really hasn't been a rocky season for people that watch every game like a lot of us do. It's been very similar to the past couple seasons. But this season's definitely been a little bit harder, it seems like, for the Bolts. They've been fighting it. What do you think is going to happen here? We're really only a couple weeks away from the playoffs. Can the Lightning make the Stanley Cup Finals? Can they lift the Stanley Cup again this year? Is it going to happen?
I'm not a doubter, I'm not going to come on here and spout negativity. That's not my thing. So absolutely. And you know what? I think they absolutely can do it. I mean, shit, they've done it 3 straight years. So why not a 4th? I think this is going to be the toughest road so far. And it's been unique. I think 2020 was probably the easiest road so far. 2021 is probably the second easiest, and last year is probably the hardest. And I know that might be maybe some recency bias behind that, I guess. But I feel like it's just gotten more and more challenging because we are the dog, and every team's going to come after us. I thought Toronto did a phenomenal job at the deadline, acquiring some very, very great talent, not just O'Reilly, but Nola Chari and what he's doing on their bottom lines, their defensive additions. Now the goalie's a little bit shaky, and I think we'll always have that benefit in any series. So that's really nice to see. And then if we move on, we got to face a team who just destroyed Buffalo 7-0, a good Buffalo team, and that would be insane to have to face off against Boston, what they're doing this year. That's if they move on for whoever their first round matchup is. And then you keep going down the line. You got teams like Carolina, New York Rangers, New Jersey Devils that we just faced. I feel like this is one of the more challenging years. The West looks brutally weak, and the East looks incredibly strong. We saw it at the deadline. All the guys were heading out east. No one was going to the West Coast. And a few additions maybe by Dallas and Edmonton, I guess, did some help for them. But it's an East Coast dominated league right now. And that makes it more challenging for your Bolts to go all the way to the Stanley Cup final again. But we got a Hall of Fame coach. We got a Hall of Fame goaltender. We got a Hall of Fame forwards all throughout the line, Hall of Fame skaters all throughout the lineup. A lot of teams can't say that in this league, so I'm not going to put any doubt into those guys to get the job done.
Well said.
I'm with you. They haven't given us a reason to not believe. Minus that little skid that happened, but they do that every March. So
I hate March hockey.
Yeah,
me too. We all do. I think they do too. I think that's pretty obvious that everybody hates March hockey.
They're like, why are we playing hockey in March? We were built for the playoffs.
Well, here's the other thing. You have to remember, they live here in Florida. What's the best in Tampa Bay? What's the best month of the year in Tampa? Pretty much March. pretty much. Well, okay.
I'm just trying to pick an argument here. Come on.
But weather-wise, March is one of the best months
Oh, yeah.
of the year in Florida. I mean, come on. They've been on the road. They just want to be home. They don't want to be gone. They just want to be here. They just want to be out there on the golf course on their off days, enjoying the spring down here. Because, they don't get it whenever, the hockey playoffs, they're always going deep in the playoffs. They don't get that extra time right after the end of the season when the weather's still nice. By the time they're done playing hockey, it's already sweaty ball season around here. You know what I mean? It's already. So I get it. I get why they take the month of March off. It's fair.
Well, something we talked about, I think, when we did the watch party is since the Vegas game, they had been keeping all their opponents under 23 shots a game. The two games that they didn't this past week is the New Jersey game that we won in the shootout and the New Jersey game we lost. They get back to those where that defense is holding those shots and they're blocking those shots and getting 23 shots a game. They're going to go well into the playoffs and go very far. I think, what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 games, 5 games that they held them under 23 shots on goal, straight games. So I think you do that going into the playoffs and you're going to end up having a good time. We've also seen Coop tinkering the lineups these last couple of games. That whole bottom line has been rotating, sitting out, and same with the defense. So I think he's just looking at different pairings because we're 13 points out of the playoffs.
Yeah. And you've definitely seen, and that's the thing is, JBB did what he had to do and what he could do at the trade deadline. I mean, he said the things he had to do. We've talked about it. He said the things he had to say. And if he could have went out and got a blue liner that he felt would have made a difference, I think he would have. But I also knew that he didn't have the money and the resources to really do that. And who was really out there that really would improve us that much that wouldn't completely shake up the entire lineup. And I think they also knew in this back pocket, Darren Raddysh been tearing it up down at AHL this season. And that come playoff time, that might be a guy that's going to come up and make an impact. And Sofrito, a little killer, Steven, in the comments, I think it was him earlier, said that Raddysh is starting to look a lot better and a lot more comfortable out there. And I like what Coop is doing with these healthy scratches. He's getting the veteran guys a little bit of a body day or a rest day, to give them time to still stay a little bit healthy and not so dinged up. And he's giving the young guys, Isama, Raddysh, Fleury, ice time that you never know who you're going to need when the playoff comes. And those guys are still going to be on the roster. So Coop doing Coop things as usual, JBB doing JBB things. And I'm still, people I saw the other day saying, oh, Jeannot, he's a bust, blah, blah. Listen, stop. Just wait. Everyone thought Brandon Hagel was a bust, even in the playoffs last year. Oh, he's doing nothing. Guess what? Okay. I'm just saying. I'm not saying he's going to be end all, an amazing guy, but I'm just saying when the playoffs come around, I think that's when we're going to start seeing the real impact of Tanner Jeannot on this roster. So, yeah, I'm with you. I definitely think that we have all the potential in the world to make another run to the playoffs, out of the finals. The East is insane. I think they need to realign it and make it North versus South again. I mean, why not? We're basically already there politically as it is. Let's just bring our hockey to it. That'd make it a lot easier for us if we just all played Southern teams. But, that's just my idea. Me and Crosby could get together in the offseason and tell the board of governors how they can make this game better in the playoffs. But until then, we have it.
I know we're getting ready to end this and do the challenge real quick. I just want to ask you guys really what you think on this last thing, and then we can discuss it on the after show, us three, and see what and debate it more. But Stammer's at 992 games, 8 games till he hits 1,000. That's going to be on the road. It's going to be against the Islanders. If for some reason Coop decides to sit him 2 games where he can do it here at home, do you think Coop does that?
No, I don't think Stamkos does it. I don't think Stamkos will let him.
See, I think Stamkos would, because it would be at home against Toronto.
They would still be the same honor. It would be the same honor. He would have the same production and everything else. Stamkos is a fucking hockey player, and he's a captain. And the last thing he wants is a number to dictate or a milestone.
Well, he did say he was upset that he didn't get any of those at home this year. in his speech.
Yeah, but he's
he
also
only had like 20 games to hit that 500 goals.
yeah, he could have hit 500 goals or 1,000 points at any time here. Okay, I'm just saying. I just think that the one thing we've seen from Stamkos, especially in the last 4 or 5 years as the captain, is example. And what kind of example does it set when you're 3 weeks away from the playoffs? Oh, I'm going to take a couple games off just so I can play my 1,000th game at home against Toronto. I just don't think that's the kind of the example. And I think everyone in that locker room would have zero judgment on him. I think everyone in that locker room would understand and maybe even encourage him to do it. I think a few guys probably would encourage him. And yet for Stamkos as a captain and as a leader, I just don't think he's made that way. I still think that his idea of being an example by leadership by example is, hey, milestones don't mean anything. They're great. And when I sit back at the end of my career and reflect, I'll be happy about it. And maybe I'll be a little sad that I didn't really get to have that exact moment in Amalie Arena. But he knows if he does it on the road, that place is going to be packed. And that game's going to be packed anyways. It's the last time we played Toronto this season, and it's at home. That game's going to be insane. So whether he hits 1,000 2 games before on the road, or, I mean, hey, I will say, though, maybe not 2 games before. Hold on. He has the knee thing. That's all I'm saying. The only thing that might have this is he has the knee thing. So maybe he takes off a day this week and a day next week or something like that. I don't see him
because they have
been off in a row.
One player every game. They've been healthy scratching a player. So he, as the captain, say, you know what? I'll sit this one out. You guys all get the reps tonight.
Like, I mean, I could see them maybe sitting him against Montreal or Ottawa this week for his, his knee, if it's still bothering him. And then, I don't think he wants to sit out a home game. So,
or Boston or Carolina.
Well, and then there's the back-to-backs with Rangers and the Islanders. So that might be an opportunity there too. But again, I don't know if that's really on the radar of the coach. Right? I mean, like, as far as like his roster, you know what I mean? Obviously it's on the radar because John Cooper's a freaking savant and everything's on his radar. You know what I mean? But like in the back of his mind,
at the airport Thursday. Or I'll ask Nigel at the airport Saturday.
Yeah, there you go. Come back. Do it. Go get your insider information, bro.
All right,
talk about it next Monday.
Let's do the challenge, and we'll let Tyler leave. But first, you got to play the challenge. You're gonna represent the Thunder, which is usually a guest or somebody in the chat. And the Thunder is actually in the lead of this competition by 4 precious points over Schooley and Stash, and I'm 2 behind. Only 2 behind because I was the only one to get a point last week, and you know it. I was the only one with Sergey with the most assists.
What a guy
on the that was the Devils game 2.
Oh, that wasn't
that's
turnovers.
Right. Tyler knows Sergachev is the truth.
He could have got both awards that game.
Devils on Thursday. All right, so that was the only point last week. This week we will go with goals scored. Who is going to score the most goals versus the Montreal Canadiens tomorrow? Tyler, you are the guest. You get the first pick.
Oh gosh, against the Canadiens, or is this for the full week?
Just first.
We go game by game
tomorrow night.
Oh gosh. All right, I feel like this is gonna be like a 6 guys score all separated. Okay, I'm gonna get a couple power play goals. Is gonna boost him. I'm gonna go Braden Point from the bumper position. I think he might put in a few. I've been seeing Kucherov look a lot his way, especially on the power play in that bumper position. I think he can pot a few. Not a lot of big bodies on the Canadiens to get him out of there. So I think he can get a few.
And you just reminded me of something we did not bring up yet. Congratulations, Nikita Kucherov, 100 points. He's looking a lot of people's ways this season because most of those are assists.
Although, real quick though, it's funny in one of his interviews, like, during the All-Star game, he's talking about, I'm not really a shooter, I'm a passer during the accuracy competition, right? He still leads the team on shots. I'm just gonna say he still leads the team in shots.
Yeah.
So
good for him.
I didn't hear the question. What was the question?
Goals versus Montreal. Who's scoring the most?
I'm gonna go Hagel.
One with the hot hand. Pass.
I'm going with the other hot hand.
Killer.
Corn.
Killer.
Shoot, that means I'm gonna have to take. I'll go Stamkos.
Oh yeah, what a
Who's-
terrible choice.
I know. I
I was gonna go Sorelli.
guess we'll take Stamkos.
Captain
I was gonna go Sorelli, but I got to come back. So Stamkos.
Yeah, that's true. You gotta go for it.
Pretty good. Who is going to get in a fight Thursday night in Ottawa?
Who's going first?
Is this back to me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Gosh,
give
so
you
the-
we
the
usually like
first one on
let's
this one,
go
too.
first.
The beautiful answer would just to say Tanner Janot and just take the win, but I feel like that's a little cheap. I did steal Braden Point on the last one. I'm gonna say, oh, gosh, it's a little. I don't. He's not the kind of guy that would do it, but I'm gonna say Nick Paul just for fun, just for the meme. Ottawa guy. He's gonna fight
can see
Joseph.
it.
Watch it happen.
Oh, that would be great.
Oh.
That would be epic.
Just for the content only.
Yeah,
Just for
right,
the content.
right. I'm gonna go with Patty. It's been a little while. He's our penalty leader right now. It's been a little while since he's pretended to fight somebody. So I'm gonna say Pat Maroon.
Go ahead, Shooter.
I'll take Janelle.
Damn it.
I didn't say knockouts on versus Ottawa, just
Well,
fights, but
just
I'll
fight.
still take Janelle.
Let's still take you.
Then I'm gonna say Asamont.
I was just gonna say I think he's due for a little bit of a scrap.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
it's not his
scrappy.
thing, but
Does
he's
he
a scrappy.
fight? Is that his thing?
Yeah.
A bit, not a lot.
He's
but
a
bit.
gnat. He's like Gord. He's so
No,
much
he
like
won't-
Gord
he-
in that.
He won't shy
scrappy
away
thing.
from it.
No.
Yeah, he's not going to go probably start the fight, but he's going to be annoying enough that if someone retaliates, he'll be like, let's do it. So that's what
All
I
right,
like about him.
Next is points versus Boston, and I'll take my boy Sergey again,
No.
racking up some assists, maybe a goal too.
Oh, hey. I think I'm gonna have to go with Kucherov. We haven't said his name yet in this competition. Let's go with Cooch.
Go ahead, Tyler.
Oh gosh, I want to change up the names. I want to have fun with this. I'm gonna.
You could go point again. It'd be fun.
Oh gosh, should I just cheat? No, that feels lame. That makes it sound like I don't know the team. I don't like that. I'm gonna go. Gosh, because he's annoying. Corey Perry. I hate that I did that. I really do because I don't really even support him. But I feel like why not?
What?
I'm gonna
Why
take
not?
Paul.
That's probably a better pick. That's definitely a better pick. It's okay. We're having fun.
No
Hey.
Hagel, no point, no
I know. I'm
Stammer.
surprised though it took Hagel.
yeah, no
No
Stanley.
killer, no stammer,
Great
no
night.
Hagel, no
Fourth liner,
point.
Corey Perry. Don't worry
Hey.
about it.
First Boston.
Well,
That's
listen,
gonna be a fun game. That game, by the
Tyler-
way, Saturday afternoon, 1
So
p.m.
matinee.
Six Fire's having a watch party.
We can't get matinees in Tampa, but they give them to Boston all day long. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
All right, one more here, and this is an accumulation of those 3 games. The closest one will win this one. How many total saves this week will Lightning goalies make? So add up all those games together. We talked about earlier, the Bolts have been averaging, what was it, 20 something shots per game lately? 25,
Except for the second period
that
last
much.
night. They gave up 20.
So
25.
you do the math. 3 games this week. Whoever wants to spit it out first. I'll go 77.
87.
How many games did you say? 3 games, right?
3 games.
Yeah, it's 3 games.
What's the number so far?
69.
Total saves. So shots saved by the
Saves.
goalies.
What is the
69.
number so far? I want to be a terrible person and just go one over someone.
You're gonna price this right the shit out of me.
We
Huh?
did that.
I said 87.
I'm gonna go 88. Why not?
Price
Right?
is right, and son of a gun.
Push the over. Why not? It's gonna happen. Boston's
I
gonna put up like
just
40.
met you, so I'm not gonna start swearing at you. But if you
I
come on the
agree.
show
Yeah.
again, it's the sons of bitches are gonna fly. I'm gonna tell you.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm a stone
All
cold
right.
loving son of a gun.
They're welcome at our games though. If you ever want to just drop a few.
Well,
Don't worry
that's
about it.
it's a hockey game, so
It's
I would
college
expect
hockey
nothing less.
too, so it's just another
even
level.
better.
It's just-
And
Dude.
just in case, just so you don't know about me, I'm an old school USF Bulls football game tailgater.
oh
That's
yeah.
why Shooter labeled me as a USF honorary alum, because I moved here like right in the middle of college. Like I was in the military, so I didn't go to college, but I moved here in my early 20s when these guys were all, or Shooter and the crew, we're all kind of there halfway through and getting ready to graduate. So I pretty much lived down there at the dorms and on the campus and at Ray J every Saturday. I usually watched about 10 minutes of football every Saturday. You know what I mean? So
stay tuned in the off season when we do the Stash Chronicles.
So one thing
we don't have enough time.
You guys both mentioned that the Boston game is a matinee game and Sticks to Fire watch party.
Yeah,
they are flying home that day after the game. Even though they play Carolina, they're actually going to come home and stay for a couple of days, then fly back out to Carolina
on Tuesday morning.
They'll be flying. They will fly out Monday.
That's weird to me.
Yeah,
that's weird.
That's what they announced on the radio, that they would be flying home and then flying back out. So anybody that wants to come to Shelter Tampa, we'll put the time out there. But it's going to be probably around 10 at night.
See, and that just proves to me what I was saying earlier. These guys are pissed off. They've been on the road so much. They want to be home more. And the fact that they're coming home and making that extra fight just to be home for one extra day, I think that's telltale. And whatever someone was talking about, blah, 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 I think it was.
I think it's a problem because Boston is playing there in Carolina.
In between
on Sunday.
Oh, so back to back. Oh, so they wouldn't have anywhere to practice or anything else.
Yeah.
Like that.
So
okay.
I think they're coming back here until Boston leaves.
I like my story better.
I just looked at Carolina's because that's how it was before. There was hotel issues. So
yeah. Oh, also we didn't point this out, which I love our people in the chat. Hagel's hat trick was the first home hat trick in 3 seasons. Also, if you're a numbers guy like me and you really are into the thing, his first hat trick was game 100. His second hat trick was game 200.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
on the 1 year anniversary that
exactly. On the 1 year anniversary of him,
and a new career high on goals for him
in that game. Yep.
And it was the first home regular season because Vladdy did it in the preseason.
Yeah. Well, nothing after that. Hey, we love Vladdy here. Hey, we love Vladdy here, and that's good for him.
On the return of Pally, we didn't talk about that great video put on by the Lightning, the Warrior tribute for Pally. Totally deserved it. Yeah. Deserved the standing ovation.
You were there, right? Sunday, Schoolie?
No, I was not.
Saturday. Oh, you went Saturday, not Sunday, or you didn't miss?
No, I didn't go to either one of those games.
What kind of fans am I doing this show with? God.
Saturday, I ended up having
weekend. I don't even.
Saturday, I had an emergency I had to go to, and Sunday, April Trimble had won tickets from Seats for Service. She won my tickets when we donated them for Seats for Service.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So
anyhow, I was in the building for that tribute to Pally, and look, I've been to countless games in Amalie Arena in the last 20 years. That was as loud as I have heard the arena, minus Stanley Cup finals, not even like ECF, right? Like that was the loudest that arena has ever been for a tribute to a player. It was really awesome, incredibly special. It's honestly one of the longer tributes that they did. And once again, that did also drop on YouTube. Tampa Bay team put that on their YouTube channel today as well. So it's like a 2.5-minute tribute. I had to go back and watch it because it was so loud. I couldn't even hear what the guys were saying in the piece. Like they were interviewing Killer and Hedman and Stamkos. I couldn't even hear what they're saying because it was Coop, and it was just so loud. It was so loud that I couldn't even hear it. So I had to go back and watch it today. So it's out there. Go catch it. It's a beautiful tribute. Pally did the things that nobody else did on this team. And if it wasn't for that guy, I don't think we have the success in the postseason we had the last 10 years. And I'm the guy that was always down on him. If you guys know about me, I never gave Pally the credit he deserved. But I got to say, in hindsight, that guy's probably one of the most important players in the last decade, if not the last 30 years, the entire history of this franchise. And I'm with Andrew Miller. Can we please never hear Sweet Caroline in Omni Arena again now? Can that just please be the end of it? Because I fucking hate that song with every fucking passion of my being, because I'm a Tampa Bay fan and Boston sucks. So let that be the last one, please.
All right, way to scare Tyler.
Bum, bum, bum.
So I was like, I'm never coming back.
No, I'm playing it exclusively at our games now. Thanks for that, though.
Hey, now I know.
Hey, that's how you get your fans to all sing together. Is play Sweet Caroline or Friends in Low Places, one of the two.
Amelie Arena has no problem singing songs.
All right, well, we'll let you go, Tyler. Thanks for jumping on. We'll definitely be in touch. We want to definitely go to one of the USF games early in the season and meet up with you, hopefully before or after. So we'll be in touch with you. But yeah, everyone, check out USF Ice Bowls in the off season now. But they'll be back probably right around the time the Lightning start, right? Fall.
First week September. We run through February for the season, and then we have our regionals and our nationals tend to be back end of February, beginning of March.
Sweet. Cool. Yeah, man, and stay available because we do a lot of shows in the postseason two playoffs. So if we go deep on runs, we like have live post games. So anyone likes to hop on and talk hockey with us, they're always welcome.
Sure thing. Yeah, and we would love to have a player represented. Send them in here and have you guys drill them with questions. If you ever wanted to do a little player interview, get some insight on some hockey guys. I'll shoot one of them. They have to listen to me in some capacity so I can throw them your way to the Wolves.
Yeah,
here.
let's do that.
Awesome.
That sounds like a plan.
We would really love that.
Next season, we'll have a player on, and then we'll go to the game, and we'll be really loud just for that player. No,
there we go. Just for that player. Thanks.
Only the one.
No, I'm just kidding. All right, man. Well, we appreciate it. If anyone does not follow you, Tampa Bay Ty on Twitter, always tweeting good stuff. On the tweet machine, Elon.
I do that every time. I do that every week too. I'm like,
we're trying to figure it out, right? I think it's here.
I know which corner playing.
Yeah.
I know we've kept you a little bit long. That's kind of what we do on the show. But thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming out, supporting local hockey, doing what you gotta do, and having the passion that we love around here.
Absolutely. Bring your cowbells too. Thanks, Mike. You're right on it. Absolutely.
More cowbell.
I got
all
some
right, man.
raised
We appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
All right, brother.
All right, we are gonna get out of here soon. But first, we've got to go through the brackets. It is March Madness, and round 2 is over, and there has been some serious upsets in this bracket. I would say
this is lookalike Tournament of Champions on Food Network, and if you guys don't know, find it out.
I'll get on that.
So many upsets.
The first bracket that you see here, the current jerseys somehow lost to the 97
original
Storm jersey, which I was told everybody hates.
Yeah.
The new reverse retro got smoked early on, but
it was
original.
It was against reverse retro 1, which took out the original white jerseys. And those two are going head to head to go to the finals. You got the Stadium Series jersey, which has just been cruising past the 2000s whites and also the current home whites. And then you did have the Bolts blue jersey go down to the original
current away whites, not home whites. Away whites.
Away whites, yes. So you got your final four now: Stadium Series versus the OG Blacks, and then you've got the reverse retro against the.
I think it's going to be the two newest ones. I think it's going to be the Stadium versus the reverse retro one. Yeah.
That'll be a heck of a matchup
because they're the two best players they've made in the last 30 years. That's why. That is why. Like I understand that it's an upset that the original Storm jersey won, but it's not going to stand a chance against the last year's reverse retro. It's not going to stand a chance.
People love this black jersey, the original black jersey. A lot of
I wore it last night. I wore it last night. So no, I'm sorry, I wore it Saturday for the alumni game. But
the Stadium Series jersey it's been a landslide in all of them. So
are we gonna get this on Facebook with the emojicons?
No
emojis.
No, probably not. That's a lot of math. It sounds like. So you got to go to Twitter if you want to vote. Listen, if you're not on Twitter, we'll do that for the final. But
yeah,
get on Twitter and vote.
Go to Twitter. I don't, but you should.
All right, challenge done. Brackets done. We talked about the
feeling
games
this
this
new
week.
hat.
We've got a couple good games this week. We
But Greg Wolf
alluded
doesn't
to.
have this hat yet.
Should we call it a show? Should we do a little tease for the overtime? Let's talk about Thomas Schooley's beefs.
Are we going to do a tease for next Monday's show? Are we going to talk about our guest at all for next week's show?
Filling in most likely for me next week will be Sonia Bryson Kirk.
Boom.
Yeah,
Right.
I trade her for you any day.
also of note, it's a special start time at 8:00 just for our special guest to accommodate her schedule. I will be scrambling because that's usually my son's bedtime, and my wife works on Monday, so nobody canceled me. Actually, they did, but I said, of course, I would do anything for Sonia. I will make it work. So next Monday, 8:00, no shooter.
Maybe I'm gonna try to make
Sonia Bryson. Yeah! So we're gonna have a great time next Monday.
Wonderful at the event. Yeah, she looked absolutely stunning.
And listen, just a little shout out to anyone out there might be listening now, watching later, whenever time. I want to say this: we all love Sonia. Clearly, we do. She's a great friend of our show. She made a touching tribute for us for our 100th episode. But listen, when she has something else going on, and she can't be there, or it's a special event, and they bring somebody else in to sing the anthem, can y'all just cut somebody some fucking slack, please? The girl that did it on Saturday did a fine job, an absolute fine job, and she sang for the Lightning multiple times in the past too. It is ridiculous how people. She was terrible. She was not terrible. She was absolutely good. The problem is that everyone just, if it's not Sonia, blah 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 blah. Well, I want to know if you know it's not as good or not, because I sing along with Sonia because it's my national anthem. So do I hear her a little bit? But I hear me too, and I hear everyone in the arena singing along with her. That's what it's about. For me, it's what she represents for this team. She has a great voice. No one can sing it as good as her, obviously. But I'm saying, cut the fill-ins a little bit of slack. I agree, Jason. Amanda is great. That's it.
So after the show, we're going to talk about my stalker friend. Yeah. Are we gonna show that little video too, Rob, that I sent you?
I hope so.
No, not this week.
Oh.
No plans for that.
Yeah, there's been some shenanigans, and also in case you guys didn't catch it last week, there was some fireworks on the overtime show. You'll never know what happened unless you go back and watch it and start following us in the overtime show too. Because
it was a 2-hour overtime.
It wasn't like a 3-hour overtime.
Listen, we had a great audience Tuesday night waiting to see if we were gonna go to.
That's true. That's true. Physically in the same room together after less than 24 hours away from us going at it virtually. So maybe people were disappointed. Maybe they weren't, because if you didn't tune in on Tuesday, you don't know either. So even more reason to start following us after this show and all the extra stuff that we do outside of it. That being said, Shooter, wrap it up.
Well, that's it.
That's it?
No, I have to say, this has been We the Thunder. Don't forget to be the Thunder.
That's it?
Except for the after show.